Have you ever struggled with motivation? If you're an educator, are you frustrated with getting your students motivated at school? If so, this video is for you. We have some expert tips on this topic. This is Acts of Motivation for the Modern Day Educator, as told through gifts by Baxter and Peyton Stewart.
Causal attribution theory is what individuals perceive the cause of their success or failure to be. For example, a student might attribute their failure in math to lack of ability to complete the task successfully, according to Davis and the science of cognitive behavioral therapy. Some examples of what students might attribute, but the way you want them to attribute is different. So students may attribute their ability to failure, but the productive way to teach them or retrain them is to attribute their effort to success. Some ways that we use strategies in our classroom for causal attribution theory is we focused on the controllable factor, which is their effort, and we gave specific feedback, and we tried to improve their confidence through small group practice. Some other strategies that educators might try, or even parents, you could teach reflection. You could validate their current feelings. You could promote growth mindset. You could set high expectations and make a future plan.
According to Fritz Heider and Bernard Weiner, goal orientation theory is a motivational theory that explains why people are or are not engaged in certain activities or tasks. This may be due to cognitions, motivations, emotions, or behaviors. This may be performance avoidance or performance approach, mastery avoidance or mastery approach. So, performance avoidance mastery approach. The definition of goal orientation theory refer to reasons or purposes for engaging in learning activities and explain individuals' different ways of approaching and responding to achievement situations. So some strategies that we've tried were timing. Other strategies that you could use were target, task, authority, recognition, group evaluation, and timing. Developing self-awareness lets students choose their tasks, specific feedback, and having an action plan.
A group of students struggled with identifying their lack of ability to failure. So what that means is I had a group of students, they were reading on grade level text in my classroom for whole group reading lessons, and they would feel like they weren't doing a good job, and they would feel like they were failing because of their ability. So that is not productive for their learning, so I used what I know about causal attribution theory to give them a steer in the right direction and help them change their perspectives to equate their ability to effort. So instead of saying I'm failing because I can't do it, we want them to say I am putting in my effort and that is how I am successful. So I use different strategies to do such things as small groups, focused on high frequency words that they were struggling with. We did independent practice that what was geared towards those sight words, using online um, like apps that our school has, or independent practice through hands-on activities. We had specific individual talks with students to reinforce effort to success and motivation towards goals and confidence. And in the end, there was some success and definitely students with a more positive feeling towards reading and participating in whole group. The second part of this project, I got to see a situation that was with my younger brother. And it's important that we are educators in all aspects of our life, because we can even use these strategies in our family life or personal life. So I was excited to try out what I've learned about goal orientation theory with my younger brother, who is entering he's in his senior year of high school, but also dual enrolling in his first semester of college. By now, we're in the ending parts of his semester, kind of like we are in our class right now. So this was a little bit easier for me since I have had a lot of hard conversations with him in the past. I mean, we're siblings, and it's easier to help your sibling try something new sometimes than a student that, maybe just doesn't trust you as much as your younger brother. So I came across this issue with him, this motivation issue, when he first started his classes. He was struggling to get his work done on time, and he felt like he was just scraping by to get his grades, and just to not look dumb in front of his friends in class. And I tried to address this with him, and discuss like growth mindset and to change his like performance avoidance to mastery approach. And I like briefly explained these things to him so that he would kind of understand where I was coming from. I mean, he is 18. He's not like a kid. I could explain in more of like the like adult words what these things mean and what can help him. So we talked about growth mindset, and we talked about making a schedule. We worked on adopting specific growth mindset like tips and tricks, as well as identified what things he had already had like motivation for. So we like identified that he didn't really have a problem with assignments that he had interest towards. Like in his English class, the teacher let them pick like a specific subject to do like a persuasive essay on. So it could be anything as long as it was persuasive. So he was very interested in completing that assignment, and he did it all on time and did really good work. So we made a plan to make specific goals, and we'll continue to make those specific goals as we go through our schedule and each semester, and he gets better at it. So that is how you can apply goal orientation theory to your personal life.
For the first stage of this project, I took action regarding the motivation of my students. At the beginning of the school year, I noticed several students that lacked motivation to complete classroom tasks. This was mostly in math. I also noticed that these students were working slightly below or well below grade level in at least one subject. This showed me that because they are not feeling successful, they are unwilling to attempt to do the task. One student stood out to me, and her name is Maya. She was reluctant to attempt much work in math. She already believed that she couldn't do the task before even attempting it. This was due to prior failures in many math skills. According to Weiner, attribution theory, Maya is attributing her lack of ability to failure. It was my job to try to get Maya to attribute success to effort. So I did this by coming up with my action project that I spent 1 month on implementing within my class. I used a small group of 6 students, with Maya included, that were also struggling in the skill of multi-digit addition and subtraction with regrouping. We worked daily in small group on these skills, learning various strategies, and doing doing 2 assessments per week to show the students their growth and to check their growth, and also to show areas that we still needed to work on. I wanted to show my students that just because you don't feel like you're the best at something, it doesn't mean that you're not improving, and improvement is what needs to be recognized. So after a month of implementing this with the group, all students felt more successful and more confident with the skill of multi-digit addition and subtraction with regrouping. They still are timid at certain times with new skills, but they became confident with that skill. The goal of this was to show students that the more effort they put into their work, the better the results are going to be. I want them to take these skills that they learned of perseverance and effort and not giving up and carry it into other skills that they also don't feel confident in. They can apply effort and then they will see improvement. For the second stage of this project, I wanted to address the issue of why my students are or are not motivated to complete certain tasks or participate in certain class activities. So I noticed that students working above and on grade level showed similar goal orientations. On and above grade level students showed performance approach, goal orientation, as well as mastery approach goal orientation. But students working below or well below grade level showed performance avoidance, mastery avoidance, and in some cases, but not many, performance approach goal orientation. So with this being said, I began by doing goal setting conferences with my students. So this is where I took their pre-test from the beginning of the school year, and we had conferences about what their results meant, as well as how we could improve those skills and those goals and their scores. Even if they were already working on or above grade level, they still had room to grow. But specifically for the students working well below grade level, I found that it was important to show them, yes, we're working well below grade level right now, but these are the steps that we're going to take to help improve and get better, because it's all about improvement. So I showed them, I conferenced with each student and reviewed their reading and their math scores from the beginning of the year. So these are from universal screeners that my school uses, like I said. So once we looked over their present performance, we made goals for the middle of the year. I also gave each student a self-evaluation survey, and so we use these two things to make the goals attainable for students and discussed how they could work together in their class to reach those goals. So the goal, the self-evaluation survey kind of helped me learn about them and learn what their goals are for themselves, what they are scared about with starting fourth grade, what they are excited about, what they feel confident in, how they learn best, just anything like that to help me understand them more. I feel like we are working towards those goals, but we have not taken our middle of the year screener assessments in reading and math yet. But I do meet with my students once a month to go over these goals and to talk about the steps that we said we were going to take to reach those goals, to make sure that we then are working towards it, so that they don't come up in a few weeks when we take our assessment in December and just say, oh, I didn't get my goal, and be upset about it. No, we want to track their progress and track the goals, the little goals that we've set, so that they can then reach the bigger goal and feel successful.
Throughout this experience, we have learned many things. First, that motivation is just like any other academic subject. Some students need more support than others with motivation, like one might need more help in reading than another student. Also, there are many different reasons that one might appear motivated or unmotivated. For example, they may attribute their failure to lack of ability, or their goal orientation might be performance mastery. As educators, it is our responsibility to support students regardless of their current motivational state. Moving forward, we plan to use what we have learned about motivational theories and implement them in our classrooms from now on. After engaging in action projects, we had to implement the theories and determine the effectiveness. That we might agree that they are helpful to personal student motivation, but this also impacts the class as a whole. Once students see that there can be results with these activities and strategies, they buy into the process and begin seeing improvement themselves.